Hi, grade ones. Today we're starting our letter of the day. And we're starting today with letter I. Do you know what I says? Yeah, it can say eh. Do you know what the other sound it can make is? I. It can say its name because this one's a vowel. So today we're mostly focusing on the eh sound it makes. We call that a short vowel sound. Now, each day for your letter of the day, you're going to have a couple jobs to do. Are you ready to hear about your jobs? So we're not starting, you'll notice, in the order of the alphabet because what's the beginning of the alphabet? Letter A. We're starting with I because we're going in the order of printing. We're going to focus on practicing on our super neat printing because guess what? You guys didn't get to finish all your kindergarten out of kindergarten school in class because we had to go home in March. So we're going to need extra practice with our printing as we get started because we ended the year on the computer. So we're starting with the flagpole letters. Can you look at these and guess why they're called flagpoles? Any guesses? It's because when we make these letters, the first stroke we do with our pencil is a pole. It starts with a straight line down, and we always, always, always want to start at the top. So for a lowercase I, we're starting at the middle line, the dotted line. We don't want it to go all the way to the top. And we draw a straight line down and then we add the dot. But we're starting with the line for the letter I. And the same is with all these letters. Letter L starts at the tippy top line. Letter T starts with the top line and then we add the cross. And the J has a hook at the bottom, but it starts with that line down, that flagpole line down, and then it just curves at the end. And K starts at the top, goes to the bottom, and then we add the kicking legs, but it still starts with that flagpole. So that's why we call them the flagpole letters, and they're the easiest to start printing. So that's why we're starting here. So your first job for your letter of the day in your printing book is to do your printing page. Now, if you don't have a printing page, you can find a notebook with interlined paper. It's really important that we use that paper with the dotted line down the middle when we're practicing our printing. So you want to find a notebook with that, and it's the best. You can print it off a computer, but then you might as well be printing off the page. Or you can get a notebook with this interlined paper, we call it, because it has the dotted lines down the middle. So you're going to practice. We're just starting with our lowercase letters right now. So you're going to start with a parent drawing maybe 3 tracers on each line for you to trace. And then you're going to fill in the rest of the line by yourself if you're making your own. If you're not making your own printing page, you can use the one that they have here. Okay? And then it's always a good idea. The fun part of this page, and you can do it if you're making your own too, is the bottom. You get to close your eyes and practice making your eyes and see how good your hand knows how to do it. So we're doing some tracing and then some practicing on your own because it's good to trace and get that practice with not having to worry about it so much because you're tracing and then practice your own. So, printing page, step 1. Step 2, you're going to start a letter of the day notebook. And again, you can use interline paper is the best. I didn't have an interline paper notebook, so I'm just showing you on here. So, what I'm wanting you to do in this is you're going to practice writing the capital and the lowercase so you remember what goes together. And you're going to have a parent draw the first 2 or 3 for you and then try a few by yourself, okay? Capital and lowercase on your letter journal page. Then you're going to think of words you know that sound is in. So for igloo, the first thing I always think, or for I mean, the first thing I think of is an igloo. So I drew a picture of an igloo and then I tried sounding it out. And I'm thinking if I was grade 1 or how I might think igloo is spelled. And you know what? This is not the right spelling. You can see I put the proper spelling on here, but it's really important in grade 1 that we practice our invented spelling. An invented spelling is when you sound things out. So I sounded out ooh. So that's how I spelled it with the sounds that I was hearing in the word. And then I couldn't think of any more words that started with I. So I thought of words that had I in the middle, that sound in the middle. So I drew a mitt and I sounded out how to write mitt. I heard it and I underlined the I so I remembered where it was in the word. And then I drew a kitten and I sounded it out. And some of you might know that kitten actually starts with a K, but like I said, I'm pretending that I'm just practicing sounding out. So that's okay. It doesn't have to be the proper spelling in our letter journal. We're just practicing. So I sounded out k, I, t, n, kitten. That's how I thought it was spelled. So to go with my little picture. And think of at least 3 words and pictures you can draw for that letter day. Okay, so step 1, printing book. Step 2, letter journal. Step 3, you're going to make the page or the box, however you're making your alphabet chart. So again, like I said, it doesn't have to be this big. It could be a smaller piece of paper, depending how much room you have in your house to put it up on the wall. But you're going to make your page. So a nice, neatest printing. Again, you might want a parent to draw it for you that you trace the capital I and a lowercase I. So you remember what they look like if you need help in your reading and writing. A picture of a word that starts. For this one, you want the word to start with that letter, and ask your parents to help you or an older sibling with the proper spelling. So, letter journal can have invented spelling. Alphabet page should have the proper spelling. So that when we're seeing those words all the time, we're learning proper spelling, because that helps us with our reading, because our reading is not going to be invented spelling. It's going to be the proper spelling. So it's important you start learning those patterns. So that is your job. And then tomorrow you're going to have a fun website activity to do instead of a video with me, but you'll still have those same 3 jobs. Sound like a plan? Good luck.